Testing, testing, testing. Oh my God. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out. For those of you who know what you're attending, everybody else who's here who just showed up, this is a podcast launch happening. So I'm Tiara Darnell, and I'm the host and executive producer of Hi Good People. And if you don't know what it is, go up to the front, grab a magazine, and there's some info about it, and more will be explained later. Before we start, just a few thanks and announcements. If you bought a ticket or whatever, just thank you so much, but also grab a magazine because I got those, especially from Broccoli Magazine, for you all. And thank you to Broccoli Magazine for providing those free of charge at the event today. I wrote the feature piece in there, which is about health equity. Yes, thank you. I had a goal to write for a national publication in 2019, and this is an international one, so I shot a little lower than I should have. So yeah, I'm excited for that. The Potlandia Experience bus, if you missed the big purple bus, you might be high already. So just go check that out. It's there for you. This was a BYOC event. And if you didn't BYOC, tap a friend on the shoulder because I'm sure there's some weed near you.
Shout out.
Shout out to that, yes. Okay. I also want to shout out Tiny Moresso and my friend Jen. Can you wave, Jen, so everybody knows who you are? Thank you so much for making these really delicious and wonderful, beautiful cakes for us. I really appreciate it. And the brownies, or the peanut butter Rice Krispies as well. If you didn't get one of those, you definitely should because they're my favorite. And then go support Tiny Moresso in Cully. Great, great, great place. Thank you to Either Or. Ro Tam is around here somewhere. So let's give it up for Ro and for Either Or for hosting us. Thank you, Either Or staff. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Everybody tip well. And I also want to thank the two people here to my right. These are, this is Kayla, this is Britton, and this is Kayla. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Good evening.
Just, yes, clap it up for them. Clap it up for your local podcasters. They're going to tell you more about their podcast shortly, but I just want to say thank you to them for participating, and we have talked a lot about the indie podcast hustle, and so I just really appreciate them making time to take part in this. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
I also want to thank Gabby here, who's my friend and audio engineer for the afternoon. Thank you so much because mixers and all this live stuff, I should learn it, and I will eventually, but I appreciate you being here to make it happen. And then also to all of you, thank you to everybody who listened to the podcast, who gave me feedback, who encouraged me when I definitely felt like this wasn't going to happen. And all of you who have been my friends either from day one in Portland or have been a part of the journey along the way. I just love you all. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Okay. And that's that. And thank you to Celeste, who's diligently taking photos over here in the corner. Yes, give it up for Celeste. And definitely check out Portland in Color. An amazing, amazing, what started out as a photo project and now is like a small business. So that's how it goes with these indie things. You think you're doing a little thing and then it becomes a big thing. So there you go. Thank you.
All right, how's everybody doing? Woo, give yourselves a round of applause. A full circle. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Bring it in. Bring it in. Listen, I just have to say this before we begin. Y'all are all so damn fine. Mm-hmm. Y'all look so good. Y'all came in here dressed, hair done, fades done, ready for winter, okay? It brings joy to my spirit because it took everything to get my ass out the house today, okay? Because this depression and seasonal affective disorder is very real. Okay.
Oh my God. Welcome.
So, welcome. I am Britton.
I'm Kayla.
And we are Village Vibes Podcast. Mm-hmm. So we've been in the game for about 3 years now. We have about 100 episodes out. You can hear us on all the platforms. I don't really want to go through all of them, but if you need to, we can talk. We can talk about it later. You know what I'm saying?
The important ones are Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Yep.
Not that the rest are not important, but
y'all know where to find
those
podcasts.
two.
We don't have to do this.
You better if you're here.
So yes, we started out in her old living room. Didn't have no idea, no clue about sound, nothing. Jesus, okay. And so we've somehow managed to work our way up to X-Ray FM. Now recording out of a studio, and one of our have a whole bunch of hosting gigs out here trying to do the thing. So for us, this is actually like our relaunch because, like I said, things in life have happened, and it has caused us to take a break. So we thank y'all for showing up. One of the things we like to really focus on this show is making sure that the voice of the community is heard. We want to make sure that we are bringing light to voices that just aren't checked on, that nobody taps on their shoulders to hear. And so we've been fortunate to have some brilliant voices on our platform, and we're really grateful for that. And we want to include you all in that too, because it takes a village.
Wow, that was so beautiful.
I know, right? I know. Let me gather my hair.
I have nothing prepared. I just showed up. So like Britton said, we've been around for 3 years. We have it's taken us a long time, but we've developed a skeleton of our show. So we have a few different segments that we talk about every week. We try to put out weekly episodes, but like Britton said, this is our relaunch, which
Sixth relaunch of
2019.
It's 2019.
It's been
Everybody
a
been
long
struggling.
year.
Y'all know what's been going on out here.
It's been a long year.
I didn't know. I was looking for gas money yesterday. Okay, the struggle's real. Okay.
Well, really personal.
I had to ask Kay.
No,
Yeah.
It is. It's been a long year, but anyway, we're here, and we're excited to be here with Tiara. I don't know why. We still get a little surprised when people want to fuck with us. We're like, oh, really? Okay, yeah, we'll show up.
Yes, you like us?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't think we said anything meaningful.
So, we're just here to kick it with her, really, and to hear more about High Good People. But the way our show normally works is we really, a lot of what the show is just talking about our own experiences as POC in Portland. Because as we know, hopefully sitting in this room, it's an experience, and it's something that we felt like we wanted a space to talk about. And in that, we decided we should share this space too with other people who are in Portland who have an experience and want to speak on it. So we start with our Bay of the Week.
Yes.
I know. I feel like we need sound effects.
I wanted the musical cues and everything. I was requesting too much. We had too much in our rider, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I want white M&Ms.
The white ones?
I know.
That's the one?
Something came to my mind.
That's
child.
okay.
I was trying to do something.
Also, M&Ms are trash. Anyway.
Okay, the soft sweet tarts. Those are delicious.
What are
the
those?
Small ones.
Oh, the chewy ones.
The chewy ones.
Whoa.
Flames, everybody. Okay, I caught the spirit on that one.
Yeah.
I cocked my head back.
Those come in a 3-pack? Like a
little baby
Halloween
packs,
time?
the little tiny ones.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Anyway, Bay of the Week.
Where were we? Bay of the Week. So, Bay of the Week is a segment that we do where really we just pick a person or a thing that has made an impression on us that week.
It's like an excellence of the week.
Right, exactly. So a bay can be anything, anyone. I remember one week my bay was my Columbia sportswear jacket because it had been raining so much. Other weeks, we've picked ourselves as bays. My bay is me because fuck all these people.
And I deserve.
Yes. And nobody is out here doing what I'm doing.
You will never understand.
So go ahead.
That's what we're coming to you with today. We're starting it with the first outline of the show, which is Bay of the Week. And our Bay of the Week is...
Tiara Darnell.
Give her an applause. And all of the people associated with High Good People.
Woo!
Okay. Hey.
You got me.
I know.
You really got me on that one.
Listen, I have to tell you. You're my. I'll start with why you're my Bay of the Week. You're my Bay of forever, first and foremost, because
Long time bay.
first and foremost, this is my DC native.
Hey.
Okay, we both from DC
Mambo
and we
sauce
connected.
and go-go.
Mambo
Come
sauce and
on,
go-go.
girl. Y'all don't know
Listen,
nothing about that. That's
it's,
okay.
It's something you just don't understand when you're from DC and you meet somebody else from DC or the DMV area. You just light up. You just know how to just come together and unify. You talk about U Street. You talk about everything. So one is
City.
that.
Chocolate
Two.
City.
you've been a consistent. You've been consistent with your support. You've been consistent with ideas, and you've gone on to do what you said you would do. When we first met, you were talking about doing this podcast and launching this podcast, and here is where we are today. And you've done it beautifully.
Thank you.
You did it. You took the time that you needed to take, okay? And you did the editing. You have the quality down. You got all of the connections, the transitions that you wanted. It is so well done. If you have not heard this podcast, Hi Good People, you have to go listen. It is so important what Tiara is saying about particularly the POC experience as it pertains to the cannabis industry.
Thank you.
So thank you for that.
Yes.
Round of applause. Come through.
I appreciate you because you really take the time out. I really feel like you're a community leader and that you like really are constantly uplifting and promoting and supporting local artists and creators and entrepreneurs. So, you know, for Britton and I, like that's a blessing because we're always looking for like some form of mentorship. And especially when we met last night or the other night, I really felt, I was like, damn, she like really cares and really invests. Like, there's nobody in Portland like Tiara. I mean, there's nobody like Tiara in general ever in the world. And I just appreciate like the way that you approach these things and the mindset that you have to be so inclusive and thoughtful about everyone that it's going to impact. It's really inspired me. I know that. Yeah.
Well, thank y'all
And
so
it's
much.
gotten me motivated because you know what we've been through, and like you said, the indie podcast hustle is very real, and it is because of you. You are one of the people who really makes sure that we stay on top of our toes. You know what I mean, and keep pushing forward because sometimes we need that. I mean, that's what's most important about what we're doing is that people really do make an effort to check in on you, to make sure that you're doing well, to motivate you, to inspire you. And Tiara's one of those people, and we do that for each other. So
100%.
blessings upon blessings, you're here.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
One more time for Tiara. There will be a couple more times, but you know.
And I would just say that I would be remiss if I didn't shout out the Racist Sandwich podcast, which if you guys haven't heard it, like, you know,
Also
that
a
was
good
one of the earliest inspirations that I had to do a podcast, and it's been so amazing to see how they have taken that from something that was kind of like what you guys said, just starting out, not really sure about audio, just had an idea, and how much that's blossomed. And the people who have been a part of it, Soleil, Zahir, Alan, Juan, Stephanie, everybody's just doing big things. And I just think that is the, I don't know, like a case study of how amazing the Portland creative community is and what we can do.
Yes, I agree. That's such a good podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next part of our show.
I want to actually ask,
Oh.
does anyone out there have a Bay of the Week that they want to shout out? If you feel
They're
it,
like,
if
it's
you
me.
feel it in your
Everybody's like,
spirit.
it's me.
If it's me, say me. If it's you, raise your hand. Go on now.
If it-
Yes, right. We see you,
Yes.
man. Ah,
There
we see you.
too, yep. It can
Shout
be
out.
your dildo. It could be, you know what I mean? Whatever. Maybe it's your pet. I know that wasn't a great transition.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes. Getting that reporter together. Okay. Her finger game was on point. I thought I was watching an episode of Love Hip Hop. I didn't know what was going on.
White pantsuit, babe.
Listen, I don't hate nobody. Stop running your mouth around here, okay? You didn't hear me say that. She was such a gangster about it, you know? I just really got into that. Shout out, Pillow.
Can I also shout out my bae, Adam, in the back there? Thank you so much for
Shout
everything
out
you're
to
doing to help.
baes.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm currently on the hunt for a bae, so, you know, if you know anyone. Sorry, I made that about me.
Nice. Okay, so the next part of our show is generally a segment that we call What We Learned, and we just talk about something that week that inspired us or that enlightened us in some way. And then our segment following that is Village Thoughts. And Village Thoughts is when we, if we like to try to have guests on as often as possible, because that is one of our things, is making sure that silenced voices are heard on the forefront. So obviously, for this episode, we're going to be doing Village Thoughts with Tiara. Hey. You vocalized that horn so well.
Good. You know, and wait.
You're
I need
so
to-
talented.
Hold on, Tiara, can you do something real quick?
What?
Can we re-intro you? You have to go back out.
Oh,
Oh, right.
All right.
There's a musical
Okay.
thing.
And so we have a guest coming to the stage. You all know her as the illustrious, the magnificent, the talented, the magistra of words. I don't know if that's a word, magistra.
That's okay.
Give it up for Tiara Darnell. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. You know what? Fuck that last season. That was absolute garbage. I was so upset about that.
Just a little backstory. We were at Tiara's house, and we had asked, what are you going to wear? And so she pulled out this fur number, and we were like, okay, Arya Stark. And so we were talking about intro music, and we were like, well, if you wear the vest, we got to do the Game of Thrones intro.
Either way, we're still going to do it.
Yeah.
So
Arya
just
Black, everybody.
didn't work
Arya
out.
Black.
Just so there's a connection there for you.
Okay. That was the longest intro ever. I was like, that's a long time. Okay, so we're back.
But you notice they changed like the houses and the scenes. That's pretty dope.
Okay,
like when the show was changed.
Yeah, but it was a great intro. It was just like 6 minutes long. And I was like, girl.
The whole thing was
like,
a little.
You can't take
it was
all my
always
story like this. And then they want to shut the show down all early and stuff. All right. Anywho.
Not what we're here for.
Again, sorry, I made it about me. So we have a few questions for you. Okay.
I have a few answers.
Okay. Well, Kayla's going to go ahead and do that for you, baby.
Oh, I'm going to ask the question? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you're going to start it off. Babe.
Okay. It's the coffee and the weed. Whew, the combination. Okay, so I want to start by asking where your inspiration for Hi Good People came from and why the audio route. Like, why not do like a blog or something else? I mean, clear. If you've listened to the show, like, the research is crazy. I'm like, it's like fact. I'm like, there's a lot of information to intake. But yeah, where did your inspiration come from? Like, where did this start?
This started at a university that shall not be named, but graduate school. And I had a class with a woman who's just been a great mentor to me. Her name's Emily Harris. And some of you might know her. She used to be the host of Think Out Loud, but she also is a producer for the podcast Reveal from the Center for Investigative Journalism. And so I had a class with her. She was a guest lecturer at this university, and she encouraged me and the other students in my class to do a project in a medium that we weren't comfortable with. And at the time, for me, that was audio. And so I thought, like, okay, I'm going to jump out on the deep end and do an audio story. And that was the first time I'd ever done anything audio. And what I produced was so transformational for me that I really thought, well, I don't care about visual storytelling as much anymore. Like, I want to do audio storytelling. And so that's really where the seed for podcasting and audio storytelling began, was in that class.
Gotcha.
And under her guidance. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I was also supplementing my income and my free time with working at a dispensary, Pharma. Shout out to Pharma in Southeast Portland. So I was a bud tender there. And when the time came for me to figure out a graduate project, I thought, like, how can I do something that pushes me in the direction of audio, that brings together my experience working in cannabis, but that also will do something to bring the voices of people who have been affected by the war on drugs or who are newly coming into the industry. Sometimes that's both. How can I do something that really adds to the media landscape, these stories that I don't see enough locally or nationally? And so that's sort of how Hi Good People came together. And the first episode is still out there. If you haven't heard it, it's still out there. I don't tend to draw as much attention to it because you can definitely tell I was just starting out when you listen to that versus like where I am now.
We tell people all the time, don't listen to our old shit.
1 through 30. Just
Please
don't do it.
Yeah,
don't do
just, Wow, because
you where we started.
The journey was real. Okay?
The journey was real.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it took a long time. And I mean, I think that first episode came out in maybe, I guess it must have been like 2017, maybe March of 2017, I think. And so here we are now, like almost 2 years later.
Yeah.
And it's just been a learning experience every single month. And I beat myself up for a long time. This podcast wasn't out sooner, but it does feel like it came out exactly the right time, like when it was supposed to.
I just really want to quickly say, you just scrolled over that bud tender piece. Weren't you? You were like bud tender of the year or something for 2017.
That is
like
true.
some big shit. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't just let that roll off.
I'm still waiting on my letter from the governor of congratulations for that. She hasn't said anything. So, Kate Brown, if you're listening,
Kate,
you
get
messed
on
up.
it.
Okay, can you
messed
educate
up.
me a little bit more on how you even received that award and like what that means? Because I know nothing.
It
Jon Snow.
was
Nice. That was full circle. That was
that
cute.
was very full circle.
You're talented.
I keep telling y'all, stop playing with me.
Okay, Nancy.
I don't hate
I
anyone.
we wild. What was it? How did I wait? What?
Like, tell me
How do you
about
get
but how do you get
a
that award?
bud
Like,
Oh,
what,
yeah.
what exactly are the details or what all entails around that position? Like,
well,
what do you do?
Well, for people who don't know what a bud tender is, kind of like a barista, but for weed. So you go to a dispensary and you're looking at, I don't know, 15, 20 different types of cannabis flower. And then there's all these edibles and they got patches and they got just orange juice, infused orange juice. Shout out to infused orange juice. Mimosas are on point. So, but yeah, so I started doing that. Yeah, you should get some. Yeah, actually, I have some. Where's my purse? Somebody, it's in there
She
somewhere.
said, "Bring me my
I
purse."
did bring some.
Is there a lavender one?
It's somewhere around here. Anyway, but yeah, so I just happened to give very excellent customer service to someone who walked in, and it turns out that person was a writer for Leafly, and they were just blown away by my can of nerddom and all the things that I told them about what they were buying. And, a few months later, I was surprised to see my name there. Yeah.
Damn.
So it just comes down to customer service, like being a nice person.
That's dope.
Be a nice
Get it?
person that gets you far.
Listen, well then, can you transfer some of that onto me? Because I swear I'm nice to everybody, and I just keep getting kicked in the nuts, and I'm really tired.
That's not true. He's garbage to people. I've seen it.
I'm playing around. Thank you for sharing that. I really genuinely did not know what that at all detailed. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So continuing to move along with this side with how you built the podcast. One of the things I wanted to ask as we were discussing, how do you feel seeing the growth of the industry now, understanding the history of it?
The cannabis industry
Yes,
specifically?
particularly with people of color. You know, the incarceration of people for just holding a bag. People have gotten sentenced to years in jail, and now to see the industry explode and be kind of taken over and taxed and
Lucrative
basically
and all, yeah.
capitalized on.
I think that we have a long way to go. And even I know pretty recently a lot of people were putting a lot of high hopes on Illinois and like their new legislation because it is the most equity centric of all the states, and they're the first state I think to include an equity part in the beginning of passing legislation, not afterwards. It's not an afterthought, and so that's kind of interesting just because it hasn't been done before. But also, come January 1st, that's when recreational or adult use sales start, and even like the black community there is kind of slamming the brakes a little bit because like, oh, you guys said you were going to do this. Oh, you said you were going to do that, and it's not happening. And so I think that there's a lot of good intentions out there, but good intentions do not override decades, centuries of discrimination, racism, white supremacy, all the things that go along with dominant culture.
Right.
And so that's really something that's going to take a long time for us to overcome. And that's just not just in cannabis, that's just in general with any topic, any subject, any place in the world, you can't escape that. And so I do think that we have a long way to go. That said, we can all make a difference in that. And this really comes to like holding people accountable. Are you going to your local community meetings where they're talking about cannabis policy on a regular basis? Are you paying attention to what's going on nationally? Are you supporting candidates who talk about the social justice reforms that are needed? Like all of these things, cannabis is not, whether you consume it or not, you are affected by it no matter what.
Right.
And so we all have a stake in this. And I think if I leave here telling anybody anything, it's just to be aware of what's going on and really supporting people who put action behind common sense words regarding cannabis legalization.
So, in that, you had mentioned accountability. I feel like we're like really in a new age, especially with social media and having access to any information. Like we are in an age in which it's common for our culture to hold people accountable. I'm wondering, like, how do you feel about the opportunities for people of color in the cannabis industry? Because the cannabis industry really only flourished when it became legalized, right? But it
Oh, it was flourishing before that. But
right,
yes,
absolutely.
yes, yeah.
But it became like a money-making opportunity. But I feel like it was unique in that it was something that exploded at a time when like we were already talking about like things for the culture and how we hold white people accountable, et cetera, et cetera. So do you feel like there's a bigger platform for people of color in cannabis now, like? Or like, how do you feel about the opportunities for POC in the cannabis industry?
I think you have to build your own platform, like, and come with your tools and come with your community, because there's a lot of opportunity that's there, but people don't just give you opportunities. You have to make them for yourself, and that's just with anything.
Right.
So, like, High Good People wouldn't exist if I wasn't indignant about something.
Yeah.
And I'm indignant about a lot of things on a regular basis, so that actually fuels my creative energy. And I was just joking with a friend the other day that, you know, I'm moving to Buffalo because I'm tired of being indignant with the same people. So now I'm going to go find new people to get upset with, you know. Yeah, so we'll see what comes out of that. Yeah.
I find that so intriguing because what we're discussing now, you actually covered this on, was that episode 1, the episode with Portia?
Yeah, that was
Portia?
episode
That was
1.
episode 1.
Yeah, everybody clap for Portia. She's amazing.
I was just blown away at her resilience and her ability. Population of one in Sumter, Oregon. I just couldn't handle it. Like I walk around Portland every day. I'm like freaking out, you know. And there's more people of color here than in Sumter. I'm curious to know, because you were there with her in person, looking into her eyes, having genuine conversation and spending time with her. What was it? What do you think it was about her that kept her there and that made her go out there and just work so hard to build the coffee pot
Yes,
shop?
yes.
I mean, dealing with the legislation, dealing with the law, all of that, dealing with, you know, people saying, pushing up against her. You know what I mean? What was that experience like?
I think that anybody who knows Portia knows that she's a very strong-willed individual and that she doesn't suffer fools. And I think when you have thick skin like that and you have a vision and you have that Chicago hustle, or you're just black, you just got hustle, like, no matter what, because we just have hustle and we just do it and do it and do it and do it. There was no way that she was going to be stopped, especially when she had the law on her side and lawyers who were going to fight to make this happen. Fear an educated black woman. That's all I'm going to say. Because yes.
I was so inspired because it just sounded like she has so much opposition against her. And so I was like, how is she doing this? Like, how is she literally taking the lemons and making lemonade? Like, how is she still finding the light at the strength, the light at the end of the tunnel? She found like the lesson out of all of these hardships. And like, just hearing her, I'm like, I believe her. I'm like, does she have a bad day? Because this is really on top of it. Like,
she, you know, I don't, it wasn't definitely not a bad day when we were there, but there have definitely been some speed bumps along the way. And I think that she said it best, you know, even though she's out there by herself, she's not alone because she stays connected with her friends and her family. And when you have people who support you, and I know this to be true for myself, regardless of whether you are in Sumter, Oregon, Ouarzazate, Morocco, Portland, Oregon, Washington, D.C., your tribe is there for you, and they will not let you fall, even when you have a bad day. And she has that around her, and she is just a phenomenal woman and someone who I am so close to that episode. Obviously, I made it, I produced it, I scored it, I did everything with that episode, and I still think about it, and whenever I talk about her, I'm still in awe of her. I just never met anybody like her. And when there's days where I feel like I can't do something, or even in the beginning when I thought about moving to Buffalo and I was like, the fuck, Buffalo? Like, you know, it's so freaking cold and that's like the Midwest of the East Coast. And then I thought about Portia and was just like, I can do this. She can do this. I can do this.
Right.
Population one, honey. Population one.
So, like, thinking about, you know, like Portia's story, what were some of your speed bumps or what were some of the things that you came up against in trying to get High Good People heard? Because, you know, I know it wasn't easy. So talk about, like, what some of those challenges were and how you moved through them the way you did.
I think the biggest challenge is still a challenge, and that is having a team. Like when you listen to podcasts like, you know, The Daily or Reveal, or I don't know, like think of the podcasts you listen to, the ones that are really well produced. Do you listen to the credits at the end? Do you hear how many people have touched that episode just to make that one thing happen? And so when you're one person and you have an idea to do something and you want it to be really good, you pour yourself into it, but that doesn't happen in a day. It doesn't happen in a week. It may not happen in a month. And in my case, 2 really good episodes took me 2 years to make, and I beat myself up a lot for that because I'm like, wow, 2 years, like that's a really long time. And then after the first episode came out, even though it's so different than all the other ones, I felt all this pressure to deliver something that was going to be even better than the first thing, and to have, you know, I think I wanted 12 episodes in the first season, and I was going to have sponsors, and I was going to have a website and a Patreon and a GoFundMe, and then I sort of lost sight of the fact that this was a passion project and that I wasn't trying to, yes, of course it would be amazing to monetize this and to actually get paid to do this and to be able to afford to pay other people to help me, but I'm not there yet. And I don't honestly know if I will ever get there with High Good People. There's a lot of work that goes into getting people just to notice you. It's not enough for them to just listen. Like somebody with money has to be like, yes, I believe in you. I want to invest in you. That person is out there. I don't know where they are. Maybe one of you do. And if you do, you got my number. I'm sitting up here right now. Like, let me know. But I came to a point maybe about, I would say maybe in like August or so of this year, where I just sort of realized that this is not about money for me. I want these stories to be out there because I want people to know about Portia, about whether the word marijuana is racist. I want people to hear the conversation that I had with my dad about me working in the industry, because that's real. And when you listen to podcasts and the news on a regular basis, it's all so polished and every word is picked over and thought about. It's scripted. It's, you know, a lot of people who know nothing about the experience of being a black woman or a person of color asking about those experiences, and you don't really, I just imagine if I were, you know, not who I am, if I had gone out to Sumter, would I have gotten the same interview with Portia? Would she have been so open with me? Could we have talked about our struggles finding hair products? Could we have talked about, you know, the need to make sure that you have the right feminine products and all of those things when you're living somewhere far out like that? There's a lot of things that we really connected over that I just don't know if anyone else could have gotten that same interview. And so when I think about it that way, this is more to me, it's bigger to me than money, but it does take money for these stories to happen, and to happen in a really authentic and highly produced quality way that makes people want to come back and listen again and again and again, and to share it with friends. So that's the biggest roadblock, has honestly been all of those things. And then you can talk about imposter syndrome, which I think, you know, a lot of people can relate to. You know, I won't even go all the way down that, but just to say that I have it, I think it gets easier when you keep surprising yourself and doing the thing despite yourself. And sometimes, you know, when I talk to friends and they have it, they feel it. I'm like, I have that too. But the thing is that I have, again, my tribe around me and people who are just like, no, you can do this. And you're not mediocre. There's a lot of mediocre people here in Portland, but you're not one of them. So, you know, so do the thing. Do the thing.
Okay, so here is a portion of the show where I disrupt everything with a random-ass question. It's called Britain's Weird Question Time, and there's usually music associated with it, but I'll just make my own. All right, so when I was a professional dancer, contemporary ballet and modern, and I used to, before I would go on stage, there were a number. Hush.
Go.
Sorry, I love you, Kay. One of the things that I would always see is that there would be a group of dancers who would smoke weed before they would go on stage. And I mean, they would go on stage and kill it. Listen, if I were to do the same, I'd break every bone in my body. I'd do every single step in retrograde. I'd be a mess. I'd be hot garbage. I never understood how some people can be super productive as weed connoisseurs, and I will sit there and get paranoid and literally just break myself down to every molecule. It's awful.
Silence. Just silence.
I mean, just nap time Ken all over the place. It's just trash. What kind of weed connoisseur are you? Are you a productive one? Are you a laid back one? Can you break that down of why that might be an issue?
What's your sign? Let's dig into that.
I'm an Aquarius.
Because I don't know any Capricorn that doesn't work 10 times harder than they have to. So that's just kind of it. And also the kind of family that I come from, like, you know, you just have to work. You have to put in the work to get the fruits of your labor, and that's just that.
But you're able to do it high?
Some things.
That's what he's asking.
Child, I'm telling you, I wouldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I'd be like, I'm staying home.
I'm pretty
Turning
sure
on the Mandalorian or something. I don't know.
that is that entire second episode, like 80% of that I edited high.
How do y'all do it? Are there anybody out in the audience that is a productive weed smoker? Like, seriously, how do you do it?
Lots
Can
of
somebody
you.
give me anything? Like, what is it? I don't care if it's THC, CBD, or hybrid. I will literally fall
I've tried
out.
to tell you. You just have to smoke enough of it until you get used to your body on it, and then you're like, oh, okay, this is what this is like a few months later.
I get paranoid. Life
I know.
is
Well,
real existential. Okay, I start crying. Okay, I start like, it's bad. I start
it's
seeing
pretty
ancestors.
bad. I've only seen it once or twice, but it's
body
really
paralysis.
something. Yeah.
Like, so what's the story? Amaranta, you said, I think you raised your hand, right? What is it? How do you do it? How are you a productive weed connoisseur? Like, what is it?
I just put myself in a state where I can be productive. I can either veg out and be bored, or I can bring something productive to do and
Work.
chill out for a while.
I love that. I love that. Okay, well, thank you.
No. Actually, can you say it again? Thank you, D-May, for jumping in. This is one of my mentors right here, and she definitely knows how to use a recorder. So tell us one more time what your answer was.
How are you a productive weed connoisseur? Like, how are you able to do that?
Okay, so as far as being productive and smoking, I just prepare I plan for it. So I know that I'm going to smoke, but I also have an activity for myself, or I know I'm going to clean my house, or I know I'm going to go like run with my dog in the forest. But I think it's just about being organized and setting yourself up in a sacred space to go within and be prepared, because this is a medicine, and when you are intentional about using it recreationally versus in a sacred manner, then you can have that intention and experience that.
I love the way you
I
broke
love how
that
you
down.
did that too. I didn't see none of those dancers do that before going on stage, but like, I am so with it. I'm not gonna do any weed. I just can't do it, sis. I tried.
It's okay.
But shout out to all of y'all. Shout out to all of y'all that can handle it.
all
I'm not
these
judging.
stoned people. So you keep mentioning Buffalo.
Buffalo, yeah.
Buffalo.
So you're leaving. But tell us a little bit about the move, if that's okay, and the future of High Good People now that you are relocating.
Well, I am leaving a week from today, and I know.
Y'all hear that? They're saying boo.
I will be. I know.
I don't know if the mics are catching it.
I'll be back every hood strawberry season though, so priorities. So you'll see me, catch me at the PSU Farmers Market with my box of berries. Yeah, it's the secret's out, or it's not. So don't tell anybody. Oh wait, this is a
There are
podcast.
no strawberries
So,
like hood
There's no strawberries worth
It's
coming to
just
Portland
facts.
for. So just don't.
Yeah. I agree.
No, but I'm like serious though. I'm just telling that for the people. Just don't come for the berries.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see what
just-
you're saying.
Yeah. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to Buffalo. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I get there. I'm really excited to be very close to Toronto because there's a growing podcast scene there, and that's really exciting to think about being a part of. So that's also
And Drake.
depending
I
on
was-
what
I was
and
gonna say,
Drake.
I was next to Drake.
Drake. Yeah. That's why I'd be going to
That's
Toronto.
the double-edged
But yes.
sword. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will say.
Oh, you're right. Okay. Forget that. You can edit that out. Okay.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, well, I was also gonna say though, depending on what happens in 2020, I'm just gonna tiptoe right on across and just hang out for a minute.
Yeah.
So yeah, but let's
Tell
hope we don't
Justin
have
I
to.
said, hey, what's up?
Justin.
Oh. He's
Also,
problematic, but
Also
still.
a little
I
problematic.
was gonna say
I can
also
still-
a
I can-
double-edged sword,
I
but
can
we'll
still
take it.
look at him be problematic. Okay. No problem.
True,
That's the
true,
finest Prime
true.
Minister I've ever seen. All right,
True.
next way.
Trudeau.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, minus the blackface. We don't need it. Sorry.
No.
All right.
But no, I'm excited to move somewhere new, and I'm gonna miss Portland. It's definitely bittersweet. I've grown a lot in this I felt 5.5, almost 6 years that I've been here, and I guess the most exciting thing about moving to a new place is that you get to reinvent yourself. And so I don't know what Tiara 4.0 maybe now at this point is going to look like, but I'm excited for a new environment, even if it's cold. Gives you a lot of time to think when you're cold. So I'm looking forward to whatever comes next, but and maybe the most important thing to say is that it's exciting to move somewhere where cannabis legislation has not been passed yet. And so to come in somewhere where that's going to be a new thing presents a lot of opportunities. And I'm not sure that I'm going to continue doing cannabis-related things, but obviously that's something I can fall back on if I decide to do something different. And land's cheap. I've been kind of floating the idea about like a bud and breakfast or something. I've always wanted to like work at a hostel. So maybe I'll just have my own. So yeah.
I'm going to come out to Buffalo.
Yeah, you coming? I was coming. You can paint the mural on my new bud and breakfast. I'm putting write that one down. Yeah, so anyway, that's all I have to say about Buffalo. And with the future of the podcast, well, there will be a few more episodes. I can guarantee you that much. But in terms of, like I said, the freelance hustle, it takes money and it takes a lot of time and energy. And I'm honestly tired. You know, it's been a lot these last 2 years, and doing that in addition to a full-time job at one point, in addition to a full-time job, the podcast, plus some freelance writing on the side. I've just been like doing a lot, and I think your body gets used to that state of going, and then when you're not for a second, you remember like, oh, this is what it feels like to be human again. And so I kind of want to get back to that feeling and just enjoy being in a new place and taking the time to get to know it. And you know, if there's more for High Good People, then there will be more. But for now, I'm just going to do what I know I can do, and whatever happens after that will be a blessing.
Work. What will you miss most about Oregon?
That's what I was going to say.
And what is the mark you're hoping to leave here, or what is something that you want to leave here and to remain, to be remembered by?
Am I dying?
No. I mean, it could be a word. No, I mean, if you really want to get into it,
Yes. We can have a philosophy debate right now. We're all
you know what I mean?
slowly
Like, I know
dying.
you love the nature of Oregon.
Yeah.
I've heard you say that so many times. So I just wanted to ask you what you'll miss most about Oregon, and if there's anything you want to like
I'm
leave
trying
behind
to
with the
think.
people.
Amma, you're like a cameo person in this podcast episode, because I think that you might be the only person here besides Adam who's been to the secret Sandy spot with me on the Sandy. Yeah.
Oh.
So
Is there nudity over there?
there could be if you wanted
Oh,
to
okay.
be. Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, there's a particular place on the Sandy River that a friend of mine that encouraged me to move to Oregon took me to when I first got here. And that is a place, I couldn't even tell you how to get there. Like, it's kind of like a salmon returning home. Like, you just know where to go. Like, that's the only way I can think to describe it.
That's a great
'Cause,
metaphor.
No, it's true,
I like
though.
it.
It's true, though,
Right.
because there's like a mile marker on the side of the road, and it's like mile marker 5 on this road that I can't even remember what the name of is, but I just know how to get to it, and I park next to that mile marker. You walk maybe like 45 minutes downhill, which only sucks because after you've been at the beach all day, you got to walk 45 minutes plus
Yeah.
back uphill.
I don't know.
It's
I
a
don't know
lot,
about-
but
I
it's
don't
worth
know.
it. It's worth it. It's
All right.
like, you know, when you sweat like that, it makes you think about your decisions. So,
Yeah, I have a lot of sweats like that. Sure.
yeah, those are good for you. But that is a place that I will definitely miss because it is, you know, we all have our spots that we return to. There's something special about it. You feel restored when you're there. You bring special people there because you want them to share in something that is a part of you. You don't just bring anybody to those spots. Like, we all have places like that. So I'm definitely going to miss the Secret Sandy spot. I'm definitely going to miss my neighborhood, I live really close to the Willamette, and regardless of how you feel about that river, whether you would swim in it or not, it's really pretty to look at. And so I have a place down there where I also go, and I plan out smoking. So, that does happen. It's not just spontaneous, but yeah, there's just places. Actually, it's funny that we say that. A lot of the places that are special to me have to do with water. And so I do find it kind of interesting that I'm going to be in a place where there is a lot of water. The Great Lakes, Lake Erie is right there. And so I just feel like I'm going to be okay because the thing that helps me feel calm and whole, water is wherever, but I'm going to a place that has a lot of it. And so that's exciting.
I'll never move to a place without water. So I get it.
I lived in the desert for 2 years. It was also a restorative.
No thanks.
But there was no lake or ocean. So, yeah.
No.
Just the water and the camel hump. That was it where I was. But I loved Wars Design. I had a really great experience there. And, there's a lot of elements of that experience that I carry with me today, having lived here in Oregon, mainly being like an other, because I was there. And so kind of like Portia was saying in that first episode, you kind of, the quirks and the oddities that you have, the things that normally you may not feel so, I don't know, okay with about yourself, they kind of help you get through. And so I think that a lot of that I will actually lean on in this new chapter, which is Buffalo.
And just because I'm a negative bitch, what's one thing you won't miss about Portland?
That's shameful shit. Come on now.
I feel like there are a lot. Go ahead.
Yes, there are probably a laundry list of things.
Sorry. I'm from Portland. I love Portland, but
it's too late now. You already
No,
said
you're
it.
I know.
You're from Beaverton.
Now I
honey.
feel bad.
You ain't
I
from
know
nobody's
Beaverton
Portland
is
girl.
way
Woo.
worse. Go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, I do know. I know. But it's just choosing which one to say.
Okay.
I think, maybe.
Should we just let the
Do you want to
listener
rattle some
just-
off? No, I'm kidding. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that negative.
yeah, because I'll hurt
dark,
feelings.
pretty
Yeah,
dark.
I
All
think
right.
I
know,
maybe
we're
we
going
should
down.
rein it back in. Sorry, I was just thinking I don't know,
Microaggressions?
bicyclists.
Those don't go
No
away,
offense.
though.
No, yeah.
The Portland passive aggressive.
The traffic, maybe. I don't know. I was thinking something a little more artificial. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
But-
yeah, traffic for sure. I was going to say, what's funny? Like, the first thing that popped into my head, which is funny because I don't actually see these people that often, but it's like the folks that always bump into me with their Voodoo Donuts box in their hand. Like, I won't miss that. So, they're not that good. They're not. So, yeah.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah. I don't like Voodoo Donuts
Yeah.
either.
And before we bring it to a close, one of the things that I've heard you already say today, and that really inspired me, and I think this is super important, is the power of mentorship. It is something that is so lacking today, and I am constantly looking for mentors, and I just think that is something that is so missing. And so I personally have always just had a draw to wanting to do that. Mentorship can come at any age, at any space. You can learn from anyone. Is that important to you, and why?
Yes, it is. And I will say that Joanne Hardesty said something about mentorship that's always stuck with me, which is that anybody, just because somebody looks like you doesn't mean they're for you. And so you can find mentors in anyone. And yes, sometimes it really is nice to have another black woman or a person of color to relate to. But I can think of so many people in my life that they're not that, but they mean so much to me and I've gotten so much from them. And it's just because there's something about their spirit and mine and we just connect and it's just easy and it's organic. And I don't even, sometimes, I remember thinking I should ask people to be my mentor, kind of like going on a date. Can you be my mentor? Is that a thing? And what does that actually mean? Yeah, that makes me think of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and just your neighborhood mentor. I don't know. But anyway, I just think that sometimes people are mentoring you and you don't even know it.
Right.
You're so busy
Yeah.
searching for somebody to put a label on, this is my mentor.
Right.
When the person is it could be a friend, it could be sometimes I think the dynamic with mentorship is that it's usually someone older mentoring someone younger.
Right.
But I've also had the experience where I'm like, I'm definitely mentoring you and you're like a full 20 years older than me right now. But we're going to have this moment because you need it. And I know that even if you don't recognize it. So I think that there's, mentors are everywhere. And I think that we have to do better to just be conscious of that.
Come on now. That was brilliant. So another beautiful part of our show that we like to do is the closing. And the closing determines the title of the show. So,
Generally speaking.
yes. So I hope you're ready because that is what the name of this episode will be. So I hope it's a good one. Okay.
No pressure.
No
you know.
All right.
pressure.
Wow.
So we start with the phrase, and you must finish it. It takes a village to.
Get Britain to finally find some kind of weed that doesn't make him paranoid.
Oh my
Lay
God.
out. You're welcome.
That's going to be a long title of this
Yeah,
episode.
that is
Okay.
a really long time.
Yeah, the SEO is going to be rough on that one, but you're going to have to figure it out.
Well, Tiara, before we bring this to a close, thank you. We want to say thank you so much for being vulnerable, for being open, for being consistent, for putting this work out and trusting that we will honor and respect the work that you're doing, and for doing it for yourself. I'm really proud of you, and I'm really happy for you.
Thank you.
And is there anything you want to say before we have the closing?
Like, share, rate, and review this
There you
podcast
go.
wherever
Right.
you get your podcasts. I don't know. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. And eat cake, eat Rice Krispie treats. Go on the bus,
weed.
even if you don't want anything to smoke on there or consume on there. And also support your local independent podcasters.
Woo!
Thank you.
Thank you. It takes a village.
Dun, 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 dun.
Listen, don't let us get sued, okay?
Ba-dum,
Quit
ba-dum.
with that.
You know what? You're right. All right. Thank y'all. It's been real.
Where's my DJ? Thank you.
How do you feel about that?
If you'd like to know about